Hey, Mets fans, how's it going? A little caffeinated up this morning, but ready to talk some Mets baseball. Team's actually playing pretty good ball right now. Definitely weird timing, just so late in the season. But hey, I'll take anything at this point. Like I said in previous videos, the main thing to look forward to for the rest of the season is just playing some spoiler, going up against these teams trying to make the playoffs. And we did just that earlier in the week by sweeping Cleveland in 3 games. Now we go to Pittsburgh, where Pirates sit in 3 games down to 500 and 4.5 out of the final wild card spot. I mean, it just goes to show, just at this point in the season, really just hanging in there with a 500 record, keeps you in realistic playoff contention in either league. We just a little bit less than 50 games to play. So, I mean, if a lot of things went wrong earlier, obviously we had the terrible month of April with the 12-game losing streak, Soto going down for a bit, and then Lindor missing for 50 games after that. We came back a bit in May with a solid month, and then through June and July combined played at 10 games under 500, highlighted by a lot of inconsistency on offense as a team, where we were shut out 11 times uh, to this date. Just terrible start and pitching by some individuals, and really all throughout, bad defense on many occasions. Where now we are sitting at having the second most errors in all of baseball. Once again, Soto's out. Now having missed another 2.5 weeks, and we went to the trade deadline as sellers, kind of just facing the reality that the season's over for us, and as we go into August here. So, heading into Pittsburgh, we got one of the few bright spots on the team, Zach Thornton, making his 7th start of the season. Thornton was charged with 3 earned runs in each of his previous 2 starts, and in his last one versus Miami, he didn't make it out of the 5th inning. Not completely horrible, as we can expect a few growing pains here and there, but we are counting on Zach as being a legit part of our rotation going forward. So we want to see a bounce back as quick as possible, and do it right here in this game. Offense, we got him an early lead with AJ Ewan blooping one in the shallow left field. He was able to stretch it into a double and then scoring on a single by Carson Benj, batting cleanup for us now. Thornton was able to face the minimum through the first 2 innings, aided by an unassisted double play by Jared Young, erasing a walk in the second. Mets were breaking open a bit in the third with another RBI single by Benj and then a 3-run home run by Marcus Semien, his 14th of the season, making it 5-0. In the bottom of the third, Carson Benj made an amazing catch up against the wall in left field, but he injured his wrist doing so, and then he was pulled from the game after the end of that inning. In the fourth, A.J. Ewan got hit by a pitch and then stole second. He later scored on a single by Lindor for a 6-0 lead. As far as Thornton, he had a little bit of traffic in the fourth, but another double play would end the inning, and he was able to get through the fifth unscathed, and that's where his night ended. Deadnell Nunez put Pittsburgh down in the sixth, but he was brought back out for the seventh and allowed the first 2 batters to reach base, and he was relieved by Jeffrey Yan. Yan immediately gave up an RBI single and then a walk to load the bases. Another run on a sac fly and got the next batter to pop out in the infield. But as we've seen with Yan, he seems to have a flair for the dramatic. He uncorked a pitch that Torrens couldn't quite handle. It bounced away from him, enough for the runner to break home and But luckily, Jan was aware. He broke home himself right away, got there quickly in time to receive the toss from Torrens and tagged the runner out to end the inning. As you can see from the replay, Jan kind of like slapped the ground with his pitching hand, and hopefully someone pulled him aside just to let him know that's not a good idea. I mean, I know, a guy seems to get emotional out there, but hey, that's your money maker there, bro. You don't want to be messing around with your pitching hand, slapping it on the ground. Anything could happen. But hey, it was a great hustle play on his part. So, hey, we'll take it for now. Just got to be a little smarter. We got to see Luke Weaver make an appearance in the top of the ninth, facing the Mets for the first time after being traded on Monday. Off him, we got a single by Ewing and a walk by Lindor, but no runs. And then Devin Williams came on in the bottom of the ninth. He gave up 2 runs to make it a bit closer. Definitely helped out by a great throw from Brett Beatty in right field. There was a ball that nearly went out. It bounced high off the wall, but Beatty grabbed it and threw a strike to get the batter out going to second base there. So a little bit shaky at the end, but the Mets were able to hold on for the 6-4 victory. See, we got Thornton, 5 innings pitched, 3 strikeouts, 4 hits, and 2 walks against. The runs came against Nunez and Williams, both through an inning, both giving up 2 earned runs. Like I said, Nunez came out for the 7th and allowed the first 2 batters to reach base and being relieved by Jan at that point. Jan and Duarte both pitched the inning. Marcus Semien 1 for 4 with a home run, a 3-run home run. Ben's 2 for 2 with 2 RBIs and a stolen base, and left the game with an injured wrist. AJ Ewing 3 for 4 with 2 runs and a steal. Go on to game 2, and it was just awful for the Mets. We had Robert Stock on the mound in this one. I gave some thoughts on him and what I thought his role would be. And, talking about that in my last video. And in my opinion, he's just going to be starting games on a audition type deal, seeing if he could stick. If he can't, then we probably have to go to one of the guys in AAA that haven't really shown to be ready just yet, or even perhaps bring Senga back out there, which doesn't seem like something the team wants to do at this point. I really don't care to see Senga. I mean, I'm sure at some point they're going to just throw him out there and see what he has, see if he's worked on it. The things he's been working on are going to help to make him even somewhat effective. But for now, he's just pitching out of the bullpen. As far as Stock goes, he just didn't have it in this game. He allowed 3 in the first inning, getting off on the wrong foot right away. Got through the second with no runs allowed, but then allowed another run in the third. And then in the fourth, the wheels just came off completely as he allowed the first 6 batters to reach base and was pulled after that. And the Mets down 8-0 at that point. Stock, he just couldn't throw strikes consistently, and when he did, they got hit. I'm sure fatigue just set in at some point, having to throw so many pitches. I mean, he left the game with 80 pitches in the 4th inning. So just an inefficient effort there, and gave us 3+ innings. So supposedly he'll get another shot next time around the rotation, and there's really no harm right now in doing so, just to see if he can eat up some innings for us down the stretch here. But he will be getting another start as just what I saw from Andy Green saying that. In the meantime, in this game, the Mets couldn't do anything off Pirates starter Bubba Chandler. we only got 3 singles for the whole game. Xavier Curry, relief stock. He pitched 3 scoreless innings. And then with the game out of reach and just with the offense not showing any signs of life, Mets called on Luis Torrens, pitched the final 2 innings. He did allow a home run in the process, but what are you going to do? Just to save bullpen arms, save them for the next game. So Mets dropped the second game 9-0. See Stock, 3 innings pitched, 4 strikeouts, 8 earned runs against on 9 hits and 5 walks. Xavier Curry, 3 innings pitched, 4 strikeouts, 1 hit, 4 walks. So a little mop-up duty for Curry. And then even more mop-up duty with Luis Torrens out there for 2 innings. As I mentioned, he gave up the home run, but it doesn't matter at that point. Mets offense, only 3 hits and 1 walk on the game. Struck out 9 times. Benj did not play in this one. Even after the first game, they said he was day to day, and we'll see. How he felt after that. And then another thing of note, Gabriel Arias, we just picked him up from Cleveland the day before. He got a little bit of time. They took Lindor out in the middle of the game with, kind of just the score dictated it. Give him some rest. Get this guy in there. Let him get his feet wet with the team. So he made his first appearance. Then we split the first 2 games. Going into game 3, trying to win the series. We got Sean Manaea on the mound. Dude's been looking great lately. He's had quality starts his last 3 times out, only allowing 5 earned runs in those 18 innings. So that's like a 2.5 ERA. Mets would give him an early lead with A.J. Ewan getting things started with a walk. Then Lindor, next batter, got hit by a pitch on the foot. He was able to shake it off and stay in the game. Bo Bichette singled to load the bases for Carson Benj. Back in the lineup, only missing the 1 game. Benj got right back in the groove with an RBI single, score Ewing. And then Luis Robert hit a sac fly to score Lindor, putting the Mets up 2-0. Sean Manaea, he cruised through the first 2 innings, holding the lead. The Mets would score 3 more in the third on another single by Bichette and then a blast by Robert, making it 4-0. The next batter, Jared Young, he snuck a liner under the center fielder Mangum's glove, and the ball rolled all the way back to the wall for a triple, and then he scored on a single by Semien after that. Mangum got the run back for his team by hitting 1 out off Manaea to make it 5-1. But the Mets broke it open again in the next inning. Bichette came up with the bases loaded, beat the left fielder, not like totally down the line, but into the, they're playing him shifted to left center more than to the line, and he beat him on the line side for a bases clearing double. He would later score on a single by Young. Francisco Alvarez led off the 5th with his 13th home run of the season, making it 10-1 at that point. The Mets would add 1 more in the 7th on double by Bichette, and then he scored on a single by Robert. Bichette had 5 hits on the day plus a walk, so doing his hot and cold thing, and this one he was hot and on base 6 times. Great to see from him, and it resulted in a big day for the offense. Manaea, he lasted through the 7th with 11 strikeouts, only allowing 3 hits and no walks. Mets brought in Jack Weisenberger to make his first major league appearance, pitching the 8th and 9th innings with no harm, allowing only 1 hit and striking out 2, including the final out. So the Mets take 2 of 3 in the series with an 11-1 win. We got Manaea, 7 innings with 11 strikeouts. That's a high for the Mets starters this season with the 11 strikeouts, 1 run allowed on that home run, and only a total of 3 hits. Weisenberger threw the 2 innings, 2 strikeouts, only 1 hit allowed. As I mentioned, Bichette, 5 for 5 with the walk, had 2 doubles, 3 RBIs, 3 runs scored. Luis Robert, 2 for 5 with a home run and 4 RBIs, and Alvarez 1 for 3 with a home run, a walk, 2 runs scored. Mets on the day. Mets offense, 15 hits, 7 walks, 10 strikeouts. Take a look at the series as a whole. Mets outscored the Pirates 17-14 in the 3 games, taking 2 out of 3. Mets go to 52-67 on the season and take the season series against Pittsburgh after playing them in the opening series of the season. So we take that one 4-2. So like I said, hey, we're playing these teams that are trying to stay in the race. Probably did a lot of damage to the Pirates' chances right now. I mean, it's still a good amount of time in the season, but this is our goal, just to play these teams. Next, we play the Braves, who we love to beat, and would be sweet to bring them back down to earth a little bit. But hey, we'll see how that goes. First game on that one is Monday night. All right, so I'm going to take the opportunity here just to present like a way too early potential 2027 Mets roster. Obviously, a lot could happen between now and opening day, but just to serve as a starting point and begin tracking this through the rest of this season and into the off season with anything that might happen. I'm gonna put this out there. I mean, most of this comes from my own predictions and opinions, but a good amount of these players are kind of locks to be on the team, barring extreme circumstances, which who knows what the future holds. Either way, it's just an initial look at next season and the names that are in play for these spots. So we got our start-in lineup, got our catchers situation settled with both Alvarez and Torrens under contract for next year. Jared Young, we could pencil him in. I'm not going to say starting first baseman because that is an area where we can probably improve through free agency. But Young has definitely held it down for, what we expected from him. I probably exceeded expectations from the team and in my eyes. I see him as a solid player, not necessarily an everyday player, but definitely a solid piece that, we could slot in at first base. He could play some outfield even. That's not putting him in the starting lineup. Second base, we still got Semien coming back, and then I think we're going to hold on to Beatty. So I'm putting him at just to have a spot for him as a backup second baseman. Obviously, we know he could play third, first, and he's been used in the outfield pretty regularly. Bo Bichette most likely will be our third baseman. And I shouldn't even say most likely. It all depends on the opt-out that he has, whether he thinks he can get a better long-term deal, so more money, by going back into free agency, or if he kind of is not too happy about his performance this year and is just going to stay with the $42 million that he's contracted for. And then I'll put Arias on there. May or may not stick around, but he is under team control for the future, and I'll just put him in there as a bench guy, backup third baseman. I think if Bichette does leave, I think we'll have another option there. Shortstop, Francisco Lindor. I know people want to trade him. People are pissed. at dumb reasons to trade him, whether it's, just things that exist in their own head, or they got a problem with some political stuff that has nothing to do with baseball at all, whatever. He's coming back next year, and unless there's just things that are happening that we're not really hearing about, and they try to move him. I think we'll be losing out on a deal, but hey, we'll see. Crazier things have happened. Seems we have our outfield solidified: Juan Soto, AJ Ewing, Carson Benj. DH, we got Polanco under contract for another season, so I'm gonna put him there for now. Look at our pitching staff. We got the guys we've been talking about: Noel McLean at the top, Christian Scott right there, if not right there below him, if not equal to him in ability, and we'll see how they both progress throughout the rest of this year. But those two are locks. Sean Manaea, looking like he's found something and getting back to being an effective starter. Really, back in 24, we saw how he finished the season. I mean, stakes are a little bit different this time around, but we know what he can offer. We'll pencil him in at a 3. I think he's probably more of a very reliable number 4 type thing if you want to put a lot of weight on the numbering of pitchers. I just want to have solid guys in the rotation. Obviously, you want top guys to be there to end losing streaks and then just go up against other teams, number 1 guys, and beat them. For the 5th spot, I'm going to put Senga there. Just the fact that he has so much experience as a starter, but we've seen how terrible he has been and can be. So huge question mark there, as whether he's back in the bullpen next year or off the team entirely. We got bullpen pieces, the guys that are under contract or under team control: Devin Williams, Tobias Myers, Dednell Nunez, and then guys who are, kind of competing right now to stay in the conversation with Nate Lavender, Chase McDermott, and Jeffrey Yan. They could all easily be in our bullpen at different levels of leverage situations, if you want to call it that. But a couple arms that we're gonna still have under control, and we can use them. If they're not going to be there opening day, they'll be in and out of the bullpen, like we've seen relievers getting kind of used and recycled throughout this year. And then we got the maybes. And these could be for various reasons, but these are all names kind of like in the Mets orbit that, we could see on opening day roster next year, or at least sometime during the season. So first of all, Luis Robert Jr., he has a buyout in his contract, which is a team option for $20 million. So if we don't do that, we have to pay him $2 million, and I think chances are pretty good. And it's probably a main reason why we didn't just give him away at the trade deadline, was because we might be able to keep him for probably like a 2-year deal that's relatively cheap. So instead of paying him $20 million for 1 year, maybe pay him $22 million for 2 years. I mean, it all depends on the negotiation, what market might develop for him. But that might be a good move. I mean, we don't necessarily need him to be a consistent starter in the outfield. I would kind of like to see a little bit of rotation involving Soto at DH, just to improve our defense a little bit. Not that I'm completely against him playing the outfield at all. It's just I think the 2 young guys are really good out there, and with Robert, he's when healthy, he's also, an all-star level defender out there in outfield, and then especially in center field. Mark Vientos, I don't know. I mean, he's set to come back in a bit, come back to the team. I just don't. I can't see them keeping Beatty, Mauricio, and Vientos. So I'm thinking right now it looks like, mainly in my opinion, that Vientos is going to be the casualty here. He just hasn't progressed and adds very little value defensively. So I could honestly just see them non-tendering him just to get him off the 40-man roster and open it up for some of these younger guys coming up. Also in the outfield, also Nick Morbido had a little cup of coffee up with the Mets. He's back in AAA, kind of a defense first guy. So he could win a shot in spring training. Who knows how that's going to go, but he's a name that, we're going to hear about. Ryan Clifford plays first base and outfield, has just really struggled and struck out a lot in the minors, which is why we haven't seen him be called up. I'm sure they're probably expecting him to get his feet wet in the majors this year, but the performance is just not there. And we'll see what he does the rest of the season in the off season, but I can't see him starting on the opening day roster. Another guy we've been hearing about rocketing up the Mets prospect list, Mitch Voit, moved up another level. He's in Double-A now. He's in our top 5 of prospects, and he was the 2025 first-round pick. Very, very good possibility we could see him next year, early next year. Opening day may be a stretch, but he's been taken on every level he's been moved to and just look better and better, almost similar to what Benj and Ewan did, just flying through these levels. So we'll see how that goes. That's a name to remember for now and in the future. Jefferson Rojas, a guy we got in the Holmes and Taylor deal from the Cubs. He's also at Double-A. He is now considered our number 1 prospect. So he could be moved up and he could be put on a kind of a speed run, especially if Bichette opts out there at third base. He's mainly a third baseman. And then the 3 starters we've been talking about all year from the minors. I mean, Tong, we've seen him already in a Mets uniform. Been struggling this year in AAA. So I'm sure he's another guy that they expected to be up already and contributing, but he just hasn't made that leap they want to see to be brought back up. Jack Wenninger, kind of same boat, although he hasn't been up to the majors yet. They're watching his starts, and he's just been inconsistent down there to the point where they don't feel comfortable bringing up yet. One guy that hasn't really struggled is Jonathan Santucci, but he was just promoted to AAA like a very short time ago. Left-handed pitcher that he's looking like he could be our next rotation piece coming out of our system. So we'll see how that goes. We may even see him this year if stock falls off and they don't want to use Senga. I could see them bringing up Santucci to fill that role, even if it's for like 3-4 starts at the end of the year. I think he's kind of worked his way ahead of Tong and Wenninger for that role right now. Although they might bring Tong up just since he's already played in the majors. But hey, that's all I got for now. Let's beat these Braves, knock them down a peg. We always want to beat Atlanta, But hey, like I said, Mets are playing some good baseball right now. Won 5 of 6 past week. See if we can keep the good times going here. Just enjoy a little bit of baseball while we head to the end of the summer here. All right. Peace out, Mets fans. Take it easy.